the Army Hour. Here is the official radio report of the War Department for the week of 25 March 1945. From battle stations at every corner of the globe, the Army Hour brings you the sound of war, the sound of American firepower, and the voices of American soldiers advancing in the fight for freedom. This afternoon, the Army Hour will take you direct to the front of the American 1st, 3rd, 7th, and 9th Armies. From Germany, you will hear the Yanks who have bridged the Rhine and destroyed the Siegfried Line. You will go along in a plane with the Allied Airborne Division. You will meet our men who are pulverizing German power on the ground and from the air. On the other side of the globe, from our war in the Pacific, you will hear from men of General MacArthur's command. And from a B-29 base, you will meet the men who are giving the Japs just what they asked for, the works. The blazing works they tried to sneak upon us at Pearl Harbor. From Ohio, you will meet the mother and hear the story of a typical GI from Main Street, who has become a tradition to the gallant men of the infantry in every part of the world, Private Roger Young of Fremont, Ohio. From Washington, you will hear the official Army Review of the Week. This is a military operation of the War Department. This is the Army Hour. Yesterday, the men of Eisenhower launched the final offensive of the war in Europe. American, British, and Canadian troops under Montgomery swept across the Rhine as the largest airborne operation of the war got underway. Now, for a radio roundup from the front, the Army Hour takes you first to the European theater of operations.
This is the Army Hour in Paris. 5 Allied armies, the British 2nd, the 1st Allied Airborne, and the United States 1st, 3rd, and 9th, are now fighting east of the Rhine in Prussia. German resistance has been crushed west of the river. That is a culminating situation in a week studded with victories. The combined efforts of the 3rd and 7th Armies captured over 110,000 prisoners during their cleanup of the West Bank. And Thursday night, the 3rd crossed over. All week long, the Air Forces have been pounding the Ruhr. And Friday night, the British 2nd Army, Canadian troops, and the United States 9th hit the Wesel area in great force. The 1st Allied Airborne Army dropped from the skies the following day. They've linked up with the British 2nd now, and our northern bridgehead is a continuous 30 miles in length and 6 to 7 miles in depth. The 1st Army controls 35 miles along the Rhine and has penetrated 10 miles to the east. The 3rd Army's Hessian bridgehead measures 12 miles in length and 9 miles in depth. A first-hand report from the men who cracked the Rhine barrier. The Army Hour takes you to the northern sector of operations on the Western Front.
This is the Army Hour in Luxembourg. The new crossings of the Rhine continue successfully, and American troops are exporting to the fullest the beachheads which were prepared for them by the artillery, reconnaissance, and engineer elements of the Army. When H.I. arrived to the 9th Army, Lieutenant George Fuller witnessed that great assault, and here is his wire-recorded report.
The 11th hour is here. 9th Army troops are poised for the greatest amphibious operation on the Western Front since the Normandy beachhead. We're crossing the Rhine at 2 o'clock this morning. Activity on the Rhine for the past week has been at fever pitch. To locate enemy positions on the east bank of the Rhine, Cavalry Recon units set up hundreds of observation posts and sent an untold number of patrols across. The information they have gathered has been computed on maps and charts. And from this information, high commanders have decided just where and when we will cross the river. In this cavalry command post close to the Rhine, Captain James Hume, Jr. of 808 Westover Road, Richmond, Virginia, a cavalry troop commander, is relaxing with his officers and non-coms for the first time since we reached the Rhine. The scouts have finished their work for the present time.
And believe me, it feels mighty good to relax.
Captain Hume, the work of the scouts has been over right now, and you've done a wonderful job. It's time you relax. And now it's up to the infantry to take those positions. What is the situation on the other side of the Rhine, Captain?
Situation from the German viewpoint looks bad. We've spotted the exact position of Jerry Ack guns, as well as machine guns, and a lot of deep communication trenches running along the river's bank. There are also some well-concealed Jerry command posts, and these make swell targets.
Captain Hume, has the artillery fired on these positions yet?
No, the artillery has not fired as yet. We'll hit those positions tonight with the opening artillery barrage. About 45 minutes.
Captain Hume, as you just said, it's almost 8 hours. Do you feel that the scouts have picked up all the information necessary to make the crossing a success?
Yes, I certainly do. I have no doubt that we have all the information necessary. We've picked out the best spots on the bank for assault post crossings, bridge sites. We've located the mined areas. We know which roads are clear of obstacles and where the strong points are located. The stage is set. All information has been verified by patrols that have crossed the river. From now on, it's up to the infantry.
The cavalry recon scouts have paved the way for the all-out assault. Now stand by, Army Hour, while we take you to an observation post for a description of the actual assault.
This is the Army Hour, regular weekly broadcast of the War Department. The initial broadcast comes to you through the National Broadcasting Company and the independent radio stations affiliated with the NBC network. Today's Army Hour came to you from the Philippines, a B-29 base in the Pacific, northern and eastern France, Luxembourg, Germany, Italy, from Ohio, Washington, D.C., and from New York. Ed Hurley speaking. This is the National Broadcasting Company. This is WEAF-FM, the NBC FM station in New York.